A woman making $150,000 a year. Her ex-husband makes $35,000. He's been taking care of their kids for 7 straight weeks while she travels the world, and she thinks he should still be paying her child support. The judge's reaction? Priceless. A mother takes out a $30,000 loan against a life insurance policy. Does she spend it on her child, on education, on their future? No. She spends it on designer purses and then lies about it in court. The judge is not amused. An 8-year-old's birthday party costs $1,500. Ice skating rink rental, a professional figure skater performance, the works. The father refused to pay for this insanity, so the mother drags him to court demanding child support. The judge's response will make you stand up and cheer. Today, we're breaking down 3 of the most insane child support cases you'll ever see. Cases where parents are clearly playing games, where money reveals true character, where judges have to cut through the nonsense and make decisions that actually protect children. This is 120 minutes of courtroom drama, financial manipulation, parental entitlement, and justice being served. Case 1. The Herbalife side hustle that became a $150,000 empire, and the mother who abandoned her kids to chase it. Case 2. The $30,000 designer purse addiction that exposed a mother's priorities. Case 3. The $1,500 birthday party that proved some parents have completely lost perspective. 3 cases, 3 different types of dysfunction, 3 judges who had enough. Buckle up. This is going to be a ride. Case 1. Herbalife side hustle. Section 1. The initial claims. The father's story. Mr. Carter stands before the judge. You can see the exhaustion on his face. He's a manager at an urban clothing store making $35,000 a year. He's a retired U.S. veteran, and he's raising 2 boys while paying child support to his ex-wife. Let that sink in for a moment. He makes $35,000. He's paying child support, and he has primary custody of the children. That already doesn't make sense. But here's the kicker. His ex-wife makes over $200,000 a year. She's a dental assistant. That's her main job. But on the side, she's an Herbalife distributor, and apparently she's crushing it. $200,000 combined income, while he struggles on $35,000. And she's paying him exactly $0 in child support. The struggle is real. Mr. Carter explains to the judge, "It's a struggle for me right now." He's a veteran. He served his country. He came back and is trying to raise his sons with dignity. But $35,000 in today's economy, that's tough. That's really tough. Rent, food, clothes, school supplies, utilities, it adds up fast. And he's doing it alone, while his ex-wife travels the world building her Herbalife empire. The 7-week abandonment. But it gets worse, much worse. Mr. Carter reveals, "She's always on vacation. She's always gone. I've had my boys for a little over 7 weeks straight. She has not seen her kids in 7 weeks. 7 weeks. That's not shared custody. That's abandonment. Their custody agreement says they alternate weeks, 1 week with mom, 1 week with dad. But she hasn't seen them in almost 2 months. Why? Because she's always out of town for her business." The mother's deflection. The judge turns to the mother. Let's call her Miss Johnson. And Miss Johnson's first response is attack. If he stayed out of the casinos, he probably would have more money than he does. Wait, what? Her children haven't seen her in 7 weeks, and her defense is to accuse him of gambling? The judge shuts that down immediately. This is classic deflection. When someone can't defend their own actions, they attack the other person's character instead. The reality check. The judge looks at the paperwork. Miss Johnson provided her employment documents. Her main job as a dental assistant pays $125,000 a year. Her Herbalife side hustle pays another $25,000. Total, $150,000. Not the $200,000 Mr. Carter claimed, but still more than 4 times what he makes. And the judge asks the obvious question. You make $150,000 a year. This man only makes $35,000, and you think he should still be paying child support? And you're making excuse me, that's my job. You make $150,000 a year, and you have the children more than you? Miss Johnson tries to justify it. I pay for the boys' private school. They have private piano lessons. I pay their insurance. The judge cuts her off. Your Honor, both of my boys are on scholarship. So she's not even paying for private school. The boys are on scholarship. She's taking credit for expenses she's not actually covering. And when the judge presses her on what she does with the boys when she has them, the father answers, she takes them to Paris. They go overseas. They've been on Disney cruises. Every time she gets them, they're going somewhere special and fancy. So let me get this straight. She abandons her kids for 7 weeks at a time to build her Herbalife empire. When she does see them, she takes them on lavish vacations to make herself look good. She makes $150,000 a year but pays 0 child support. Meanwhile, their father makes $35,000, has them most of the time, and can barely afford to take them to Six Flags. The house situation. Then comes another bombshell. Miss Johnson. He's living in my $350,000 house that he doesn't pay any type of mortgage at all whatsoever. So she owns a $350,000 house, and he's living in it with the kids. But the kids have been with him for 7 weeks straight. They're living in that house because that's where they are. She's not there. She's traveling, building her empire, living her best life. And she's resentful that he's living in her house while raising her kids. The entitlement is staggering.
The judge has had enough. Time to do the math. Miss Johnson's gross income, $12,500 per month from $150,000 annual. Her net after taxes, $9,000 per month. The judge calculates child support based on the standard formula for 2 children, 20.63% of net income. But then Miss Johnson tries one more deflection. I take care of my sister's 3 children as well. The judge's patience is wearing thin. When did this start? 6 months ago. Whose children are these? My sister's. The judge shuts it down. Let me let you know how this goes. Anybody else's kids are not a part of this case. Understood? This is a common tactic in family court. When someone knows they're losing, they try to introduce irrelevant information to confuse things. I have other expenses. I'm supporting other people. There are special circumstances. But the judge is clear. We're here about your 2 children. Nobody else's situation matters. The calculation. After offsetting what Mr. Carter would owe based on his minimal income against what she owes based on her substantial income, the judge arrives at a number, $1,456 per month. Miss Johnson will now pay $1,456 every month to Mr. Carter for child support. That's $17,472 per year, a significant chunk of money that will actually help him provide for those boys. The judge's reasoning. And then the judge explains why this matters. Ma'am, it's not fair to your children that at Dad's house they're not able to do as much as they are able to do with you. This is the key insight. Children living in split custody shouldn't have wildly different experiences at each parent's house. It's not about punishing the successful parent. It's about equity for the kids. At Mom's house, trips to Paris, Disney cruises, private schools, on scholarship but still, piano lessons, luxury, everything. At Dad's house, struggling to afford Six Flags once in a while. That creates a damaging dynamic. The kids start to see Dad as poor dad and Mom as fun rich mom. They might start to resent Dad for not providing the same experiences, even though it's not his fault he makes less money. the emotional reality. The judge continues, "Did you ever stop to ask your kids how they feel about that? It's not fair. They get to do everything with you and not with dad." Children notice disparities. They internalize them. They create narratives around them. Dad doesn't love us as much because he doesn't take us on trips. Mom is better because she has money. These aren't true, but kids don't understand income inequality. They just see the difference in lifestyle. Child support isn't charity. It's about creating stability and equity for the children across both households. Miss Johnson's final deflection. Even after losing, Miss Johnson can't help herself. "Your Honor, I understand, but when I was out getting education, he decided to run around and chase everything that had legs. The judge has had enough. You know what? You guys need to be in a different court for that. That has nothing to do with me." Perfect response. Family court is not therapy. It's not the place to air grievances about past relationships. The judge is there to determine financial responsibility for children, period. Case dismissed. The ruling stands, $1,456 per month, paid on the 1st of every month. Mr. Carter walks out of that courtroom with a victory, not because he won against his ex, but because his children will now have financial support that reflects both parents' incomes. The MLM factor. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Herbalife. Herbalife is a multi-level marketing company. Some people call it a pyramid scheme, others defend it as legitimate direct sales. Whatever you call it, the business model is clear. Recruit people below you and you make money from their sales. Most people in MLMs make very little money. The FTC has documented this extensively. But a small percentage, those at the top of the pyramid, can make substantial income. Miss Johnson apparently is one of those rare success stories. She's making $25,000 a year from Herbalife on top of her $125,000 salary. The cost of success. But here's what nobody talks about. What did she sacrifice to get there? To succeed in an MLM, you have to be constantly recruiting, selling, attending training events, building your downline, going to conferences, posting on social media, networking. It's essentially a second full-time job. And Miss Johnson admitted in court she's been traveling for training. She's been gone for 7 weeks. She chose her Herbalife empire over seeing her children. The prioritization problem. This case isn't really about Herbalife specifically. It's about priorities. Miss Johnson prioritized her career, her side business, her lifestyle, vacations, luxury, her children, a distant fourth. Meanwhile, Mr. Carter prioritized his children, his modest job that pays the bills, and everything else. One parent is building wealth, the other parent is building a relationship with his kids. Which one matters more? The guilty vacation phenomenon. Notice the pattern. Miss Johnson abandons her kids for weeks, then takes them on lavish vacations when she does see them. This is classic guilty parent behavior. She knows she's absent. She knows she's prioritizing business over motherhood. So when she does show up, she overcompensates. Paris, Disney cruises. Look how much fun mom is. But kids don't need Disneyland. They need presence. They need a parent who shows up to soccer games, who helps with homework, who tucks them in at night. Mr. Carter is providing that on $35,000 a year. Miss Johnson is trying to buy their love on $150,000 a year. And the crazy part is, she resents him. She resents that he's living in her house. She resents that he goes to casinos, which he denied and which is irrelevant anyway. She can't see that he's the one doing the hard work of actual parenting while she's building her empire. She views him as a freeloader living in her house, when in reality, he's raising her children in that house because she's never there. The system finally works. For once, the system worked. The judge saw through the nonsense, calculated fair child support based on income disparity, and made sure those boys would have financial support from both parents. But here's the sad truth. No amount of money fixes an absent parent. Those boys might have more resources now, but what they really need is their mother to actually be present. Money doesn't replace time. It doesn't replace love. It doesn't replace showing up. What should happen next? Ideally, Miss Johnson would have an epiphany. She'd realize that no amount of Herbalife success is worth missing her children's childhood. She'd scale back the travel, prioritize custody time, actually be a mother instead of just funding motherhood. But realistically, she probably won't. She's too invested in her identity as a successful businesswoman, too addicted to the lifestyle, too disconnected from her kids to even understand what she's missing. And those boys will grow up with a father who was there and a mother who sent money. 10 years from now, when they're teenagers, which parent do you think they'll have a relationship with? The lesson. This case teaches us something important. Financial success means nothing if you're not there for your kids. You can make $150,000 or $1.5 million. You can take your kids to Paris or Bali or the moon. But if you're not there for the everyday moments, the homework help, the bedtime stories, the scraped knees, the bad days at school, you're not really parenting. You're just funding someone else's parenting. And one day you'll wake up and realize your kids don't really know you, and no amount of money will fix that.
Mr. Bridges is in court because his 12-year-old son told him something concerning. The boy came back from visiting his mother and said, "Mama has more money." At first, Mr. Bridges didn't think much of it. Kids say things. But then the boy elaborated, something about a life insurance policy, something about new purses. And Mr. Bridges thought, if she has extra money, shouldn't she be contributing more to our son's expenses? So he filed for increased child support. The mother's immediate denial. The judge turns to the mother. We'll call her Ms. Williams. "Ma'am, he's lying." That's her opening statement. No explanation, no nuance, just he's lying. But the judge isn't having it. "Let me ask you this. Did you take money out of a life insurance policy?" Pause. It's a yes or no. It's not an Yes, I did. She admitted it. So Mr. Bridges wasn't lying. The son wasn't lying. Ms. Williams did take money out of a life insurance policy. How much? $30,000. $30,000. For context, she makes $60,000 a year as an interior designer. She took out a loan against her life insurance policy for half of her annual income. What did she spend it on? The judge wants to know, what did you spend $30,000 on? Purses. I'm sorry, what? A lot of purses. The judge is stunned. What kind of purses are you buying? Ms. Williams points to the designer bag on the table. It's a Michael Kors. Let's do some math. A Michael Kors purse typically costs between $200 and $600, depending on the style. Let's say average $400 per bag. $30,000 divided by $400 equals 75 purses. She bought 75 designer purses. Or maybe she bought even more expensive ones. Maybe she bought Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Prada. Either way, she took out a massive loan to fund a shopping addiction. The child lives with the father. The judge asks the obvious question. Who does the child live with? Him, the father. Has she given you any money additionally for the child? No. So let me make sure I understand this correctly. The child lives with his father full-time. She makes $60,000 a year. She took out a $30,000 loan. She spent all of it on purses for herself. She hasn't given the father any extra money for the child. And when confronted, her defense is, he's lying. The justification. Ms. Williams tries to explain. I'm an interior designer, so I have to make sure that I match with everything I wear. The judge's face says it all. And you have to make sure that you have the money to buy that, right? Well, you know, I go bargain shopping. Bargain shopping that costs $30,000. There's a lot of good purses out there, but I go shopping for my son too. Notice the deflection. She's trying to make it sound like she spends money on her son too, so it's balanced. But the son lives with his father. The father is covering all expenses, and she just admitted she doesn't give extra money. Where is the money now? The judge wants to know, where is that money housed right now? It's in my account somewhere. Don't play with me. in your account somewhere, in like a bank account sitting, you're not doing anything with it. It's somewhere safe where he don't need to be touching it. This is incredible. She took out $30,000, supposedly spent it on purses, but now claims it's somewhere safe where the father can't touch it. So did she spend it all not? Either way, she's lying about spending it all, or she's hiding money. Either way, she's being dishonest. The judge's calculation. The judge has had enough. Time to calculate child support. Ms. Williams' gross income from her job is $4,800 per month from $60,000 annual. Her net is $3,935. Then the judge adds the $30,000 loan. Gross for that is $2,500 per month. Net is $2,144. Total net income is $6,079.81 per month. The judge asks, who carries health insurance for the child? I do. How much is health insurance? About $120. Is that for you and the child or for the child only? Child only. So she's paying $120 per month for the child's health insurance. That's the only financial contribution she's making. The final number. Based on her net income of $6,079.81, the judge calculates child support, $1,215.97 per month. That's over $14,500 a year that she'll now have to pay to support her son. And the judge gives her one more chance to come clean. I mean, you have anything else to say? You want to tell me about some more money you have in a safe place so I can make that child support amount go up? No, Your Honor. She finally shuts up. Case dismissed. Mr. Bridges walks out with a child support order that will actually help him provide for their son. Ms. Williams walks out realizing her shopping addiction just became very expensive. This isn't really about purses. Let's be clear. This case isn't about a woman who likes nice bags. Lots of people like nice things. That's not the problem. The problem is the scale. $30,000 is not shopping. It's an addiction. The priorities. She chose designer bags over her child. The deception. She lied about it, hid money, and denied responsibility. This is textbook addictive behavior. What is shopping addiction? Shopping addiction, also called compulsive buying disorder, is a real psychological condition. It's characterized by compulsive urges to buy things, shopping as emotional regulation, to feel better when sad, stressed, or anxious, spending beyond one's means, hiding purchases from others, feeling guilt and shame but continuing anyway. Ms. Williams checks every box. She took out a loan she couldn't afford, she bought things she didn't need, she hid the truth, and when confronted, her defense is, he's lying. Why purses? For some people, the addiction manifests in clothes. For others, electronics. For Ms. Williams, it's purses. Why purses specifically? Status symbols. Designer bags signal wealth and success. Carrying a Louis Vuitton makes you feel important. Collectability. Like sneaker culture, purse culture involves collecting limited editions, rare styles, and complete sets. Emotional comfort. Shopping releases dopamine. The excitement of buying something new temporarily makes you feel better. Identity construction. I'm the kind of woman who carries designer bags becomes part of your self-image. The $30,000 loan. Taking out a loan against a life insurance policy is a big deal. Life insurance policies are designed to protect your family if you die. They're meant to provide financial security. When you take a loan against the policy, you're borrowing against your own future, or your family's future if you pass away. The fact that she did this and spent the money on purses shows how deep the addiction runs. She literally mortgaged her future to feed a shopping habit. The child as an afterthought. The most heartbreaking part, her son is an afterthought in all of this. She didn't take out $30,000 to pay for his education or medical expenses or to help his father provide better. She took it for herself, and when confronted, her defense is, he's lying. That killed 13 minutes of your time. Now there is no way I could tell if this is true or not. Of course, it could be true, but I can't say for sure. However, I will try. This woman certainly looks guilty. You can definitely tell from her facial expressions and the way she kept changing her statements. She was getting caught in her lies.
This case is a perfect example of someone who needs to get their life together. I hope now she is ready to do so, and that this child will live with a better family. I will also do more research on this case. Follow me and don't forget to comment below. Also, like and share this video.
Truth matters in this courtroom. Ms. Jackson is in court because she's upset with her ex-husband, James. They've been split for a couple of years. They share custody of their daughter, and generally, things have been fine. Until the birthday party. Their daughter turned 8 years old. Ms. Jackson decided to throw her an amazing party. How amazing? $1,500 for an 8-year-old. What did $1,500 buy? Rented ice skating rink, the whole rink private. Professional figure skater performance, Tara Lipinski, the Olympic gold medalist. Food, cake, decorations, party favors, presumably. This wasn't a birthday party, this was a production. And James refused to contribute. So Ms. Jackson dragged him to court demanding child support because he wouldn't split the cost. The judge's reaction. The judge's face when she hears $1,500 is priceless. How? 8 years old? You can hear the disbelief. Ms. Jackson tries to justify it. Well, she really likes ice skating, so we rented out the ice skating rink, and then Tara Lipinski came and did a little routine for the girls. It was a lot of fun. The judge is not impressed. The justification, keeping up with Susie. Then comes the kicker. Ms. Jackson admits, I looked at what past birthday parties we had gone to, kind of the expectation was set at a certain level. Translation, other parents were throwing expensive parties, so I had to match them. She specifically mentions, Susie had a birthday party that cost $2,000, so I kept it at a reasonable cost. Wait, $1,500 is reasonable because Susie's parents spent $2,000? This is insanity. The keeping up with the Joneses problem. This is a perfect example of competitive parenting. Parents see what other parents are doing and feel pressure to match or exceed it. Birthday parties have become status symbols, a way to show other adults how much you love your child and how much money you have. It's no longer about the kid having fun with friends, it's about impressing other adults. And Ms. Jackson fell right into that trap. James's perspective. James tries to inject some sanity. I am more than happy to help our daughter celebrate and live her life, but there comes a point where it's just frivolous. It's awkward. He's right. An 8-year-old doesn't need Tara Lipinski at her birthday party. She doesn't even know who Tara Lipinski is, probably. What 8-year-olds want? Friends, cake, games, maybe some presents. That's it. That's the list. You could throw an amazing 8-year-old birthday party for $200 to $300. Ms. Jackson's defense. When the judge points out that this is ridiculous, Ms. Jackson defends herself. Tiny really wanted her, though. The daughter wanted Tara Lipinski there? Really? The judge isn't buying it. Yeah, but Tiny is not paying $1,500, is she? Perfect response. Of course the child wanted a celebrity there. Of course she wanted the whole ice rink. If you asked an 8-year-old, do you want a pony at your party? She'd say yes too. That doesn't mean you get her a pony. The real issue. Ms. Jackson admits what this is really about. I just want to make sure in the future there is a balance in our relationship. She's trying to use the birthday party dispute to establish a precedent. She wants the court to order James to pay child support so that in the future when she wants to spend extravagantly, he has to contribute. This isn't about the party, this is about control. Section 7. The judge's ruling, 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes. The judge shuts it down. The judge has had enough. I would like for you to not spend $1,500 on a birthday party. She's not asking, she's telling. When she turns 9, no $1,500. When she turns 10, no $1,500. I mean, that is absurd. The judge is putting her foot down. This ends now. No child support. I'm not going to have him pay child support based on that. Ms. Jackson's plan falls apart. She thought she could strong-arm James into paying by dragging him to court. Instead, the judge validated his position. That party was ridiculous and he was right to refuse to pay. The custody arrangement. The judge clarifies they share custody. When the child is with Ms. Jackson, she covers expenses. When the child is with James, he covers expenses. That's how shared custody works. There's no reason for child support when both parents share custody equally, both parents are employed and capable of supporting the child, and expenses are split fairly for shared costs, like health insurance. Ms. Jackson was trying to twist the system to force James to fund her extravagant lifestyle choices. The real issue. The judge sees through it. It sounds like you probably put yourself in the hole with that $1,500 birthday party and are trying to recoup some of the money from it because you were trying to keep up with Susie paying $2,000, which is absolutely ridiculous. Bingo. Ms. Jackson overspent. Now she's broke, so she's trying to get James to bail her out by calling it child support. The health insurance arrangement. The only financial obligation the judge discusses is health insurance. Both parents carry insurance for the daughter. That's appropriate, that's reasonable. But beyond that, no additional child support is warranted. Case dismissed. The judge dismisses the case. No child support order, no reimbursement for the party, nothing. Ms. Jackson leaves empty-handed. James leaves validated. And hopefully next year's birthday party will cost $200 instead of $1,500.
There was a time when kids' birthday parties were simple. Invite friends to your house, play games in the backyard, eat cake and ice cream, open presents. Done. Total cost maybe $50 to $100. Now, birthday parties have become events, themes, venues, entertainment, catering, party favors that cost more than the actual presents. Some parents spend thousands, some even hire event planners. What happened? Social media. Parents post elaborate parties on Instagram and Facebook. Others see it and feel pressure to match. Pinterest culture. Endless inspiration for over-the-top party ideas makes simple seem inadequate. Wealth inequality. Some families can afford extravagant parties. Others feel like failures if they can't provide the same. Competitive parenting. Parents use their children's parties as a way to compete with other parents and prove their worth. The loss of perspective. Here's what we've lost. Birthday parties are supposed to be for the child, not for impressing other parents, not for social media content, not for keeping up with Susie. For the birthday kid to have fun with friends and feel special. An 8-year-old doesn't care if Tara Lipinski shows up. She cares if her best friends are there, if she gets to blow out candles, if she has fun. You could throw a party in your backyard with a homemade cake and some balloons, and she'd be just as happy. The financial strain. For many families, the pressure to throw expensive parties creates real financial stress. Parents go into debt to fund birthday parties they can't afford. They sacrifice paying bills to make sure their child's party is good enough, all because they're afraid of being judged by other parents. What kids actually remember. Studies on childhood memories show that kids don't remember how much money was spent, what the decorations looked like, whether there was a celebrity. They remember who was there, if they had fun, how they felt, the emotional connection with friends and family. That's it. Your child won't remember that you hired Tara Lipinski when they're 25 years old, but they will remember if you went into debt and stressed about money for months afterward. They will remember if their parents fought about the party. They will remember the feeling of being celebrated, not the price tag. The Susie problem. Let's talk about Susie's $2,000 party for a second. Miss Jackson used this as justification. Well, Susie's parents spent $2,000, so $1,500 is reasonable. But here's what she doesn't know. Maybe Susie's parents are wealthy. Maybe they can afford $2,000 without blinking. Or maybe Susie's parents are also broke and stupid and they put that party on credit cards. Or maybe Susie's parents have family money, or they saved for a year, or they have different priorities. It doesn't matter. Susie's parents' financial decisions should have zero impact on your financial decisions. This is the comparison trap, and it destroys people. If you make $50,000 a year and your neighbors make $200,000, you can't live like they do. If you try, you'll go broke. Same principle applies to birthday parties. The pressure on kids. Here's the dark side nobody talks about.
These elaborate parties create pressure on the birthday kid too. When you attend a party with an ice rink and an Olympic figure skater, that becomes your expectation. Then, when your friend has a simple party at their house with homemade cake, it feels disappointing. Kids start judging each other's parties, ranking them, creating social hierarchies based on whose party was better. That's toxic. Children should learn that celebrations are about togetherness, not extravagance. What James was really protecting. When James refused to pay for that party, he wasn't being cheap. He was protecting his daughter from learning the wrong lesson. He was saying, we don't need to spend thousands of dollars to show we love you. We don't need to compete with other families. We don't need to impress anyone. That's actually good parenting. Teaching your child that love and worth aren't measured in dollars is one of the most important lessons you can give. The judge's wisdom. The judge understood this immediately. She didn't need a long explanation. She heard $1,500 and 8 years old and knew it was wrong. And she had the courage to say so. In a world where everyone is afraid to judge other parenting choices, this judge said, "No, this is absurd. Stop it." We need more of that. What should Miss Jackson do now? Hopefully this court experience was a wake-up call. Hopefully she goes home and thinks, maybe I got caught up in keeping up with others. Maybe I lost perspective. Next year, when her daughter turns 9, maybe they'll have a party at the local park. Invite 10 friends, play games, eat cupcakes. Cost $150. And her daughter will have just as much fun, maybe even more, because mom won't be stressed about money and mom and dad won't be fighting about the bill. The alternative path. Imagine if Miss Jackson had approached this differently. What if she'd called James before planning the party and said, "Hey, Tiny wants an ice skating party. I was thinking we could rent the rink for an hour, invite her class, and keep it simple. Should run about $300 to $400. Can we split that?" James probably would have said yes, because that's reasonable. That's a real celebration without going overboard. But instead, she planned an over-the-top event without consulting him, spent $1,500, and then demanded he pay half. That's not co-parenting. That's financial ambush.
Truth matters in this courtroom. What do these cases have in common? We've just examined 3 very different child support cases. The Herbalife mom who abandoned her kids for business, the purse-addicted mom who spent $30,000 on herself, and the birthday party mom who tried to keep up with the Joneses. Different circumstances, different issues, but some common themes emerge. Theme 1. Priorities out of order. In all 3 cases, the mothers prioritized the wrong things. Case 1. Business and travel over time with children. Case 2. Designer bags over child's needs. Case 3. Impressing other parents over financial responsibility. None of them put their children's genuine well-being first. They put their own ego, identity, or image first, and the children suffered. Theme 2. Financial dishonesty. All 3 mothers were dishonest about money. Case 1. Miss Johnson claimed to pay for private school when the kids were on scholarship. She pretended she needed to travel for business when she was really just avoiding parenting. Case 2. Miss Williams lied about the $30,000 loan, claimed she didn't have extra money, then admitted she had it somewhere safe. Case 3. Miss Jackson tried to disguise a personal spending choice, an extravagant party, as a necessary child expense. Financial dishonesty destroys trust, and in co-parenting relationships, trust is everything. Theme 3. Deflection and blame. When confronted with their behavior, all 3 deflected. Case 1. If he stayed out of casinos, attacking his character instead of defending her actions. Case 2. He's lying, denying reality instead of taking responsibility. Case 3. Susie's party cost $2,000, justifying her choices by comparing to others. This is classic narcissistic behavior. When caught doing something wrong, attack the accuser or change the subject. Theme 4. Using children as props. In different ways, all 3 mothers used their children as props for their own narrative. Case 1.
taking kids on lavish vacations to look like fun mom while abandoning them most of the time. Case 2, claiming to shop for my son too while spending $30,000 on purses for herself. Case 3, throwing an extravagant party that was really about impressing other adults, not making her daughter happy. The children's actual needs and feelings were secondary to the mother's image management. And all 3 cases, the fathers were the ones actually protecting the children's interests. Case 1, Mr. Carter was raising the boys on limited income while their mother traveled. Case 2, Mr. Bridges brought the case to court because his son deserved financial support from both parents. Case 3, James refused to enable extravagant spending and tried to teach his daughter healthy values. These men weren't perfect, but they were present. They were responsible. They put their children first. The gender dynamic. It's worth noting, these cases all involve mothers behaving badly and fathers trying to hold them accountable. This goes against the stereotype that fathers are the deadbeats and mothers are the caregivers. The reality is that bad parents come in all genders. Mothers can be absent, selfish, financially irresponsible, and emotionally manipulative. And fathers can be loving, present, responsible, and protective. The family court system has historically favored mothers in custody and financial disputes, but cases like these show why courts need to evaluate each parent individually based on their actual behavior, not on gender stereotypes. What children learn from these situations? Children in these situations are learning lessons that will shape them for life. From case 1, those boys are learning, Dad is reliable, Mom is not. Money doesn't equal love. Actions matter more than gifts. From case 2, that 12-year-old is learning, Mom values material things over people. Lying about money is normal. Designer brands are more important than he is. From case 3, that 8-year-old is learning expensive parties equal love, maybe. Comparing yourself to others is normal. Dad's concerns don't matter if Mom wants something. These lessons will affect their future relationships, their financial habits, and their self-worth. The long-term impact. 10 years from now, case 1, those boys will be teenagers. They'll remember Dad was always there. They'll remember Mom was always gone. Guess which parent they'll want to spend time with. Case 2, that boy will be 22. He'll remember his mom lied about money and spent $30,000 on purses while he needed support. Will he trust her with anything important? Case 3, that girl will be 18. She'll either have learned to be financially responsible from her dad, or she'll have absorbed her mom's habits of competitive spending. Which do you think is more likely? The choices parents make today echo for decades. What about the fathers? Let's be fair, these fathers aren't perfect either. We're only seeing one side, the court case. We don't know what happened in these relationships before the split. Maybe Mr. Carter did gamble, though he denied it. Maybe Mr. Bridges has his own flaws. Maybe James has issues we didn't see. Nobody's perfect, but in these specific cases, in these specific moments, the fathers were advocating for their children's well-being, while the mothers were not. And that's what the judges recognized. The judge's role. All 3 judges did something important. They cut through the nonsense. They didn't get distracted by deflections, accusations, or irrelevant details. They focused on the facts. Who has the children? Who's making money? Who's spending responsibly? What's in the children's best interest? And they made decisions based on those factors, not on gender stereotypes or emotional manipulation. Judge 1, the Herbalife case, ordered $1,456 from the high-earning mother to the lower-earning father who had the kids most of the time. Judge 2, the purse case, calculated $1,215 based on the mother's actual income, including the $30,000 loan she tried to hide. Case 3, the birthday party, refused to order child support based on an extravagant voluntary expense and told the mother to stop spending absurdly. All 3 made the right call. What these cases teach co-parents. If you're co-parenting with an ex, here are the lessons. 1. Be honest about money. Financial dishonesty always gets exposed, always, and when it does, you lose credibility in every other area. 2.
put children first, not ego. Your child doesn't care how much money you make or how impressive your lifestyle is. They care if you show up. 3. Don't use children as weapons. Withholding time, demanding unreasonable expenses, or using support as leverage hurts your kids, not just your ex. 4. Communicate before major decisions. Want to throw an expensive party? Great. Discuss it with your co-parent first. Don't ambush them with bills. 5. Focus on what matters. In 20 years, your child won't remember how expensive their 8th birthday was. They'll remember if you were present, loving, and stable. What these cases teach the rest of us. Even if you're not co-parenting, there are lessons here. 1. Financial responsibility isn't optional. You can't spend money you don't have to maintain an image. It always catches up. 2. Stop comparing yourself to others. Susie's $2,000 party shouldn't dictate your budget. Live according to your means, not someone else's. 3. Addiction takes many forms. Shopping addiction is real. If you're hiding purchases, lying about spending, or shopping to cope with emotions, get help. 4. Presence over presence. This applies to all relationships. Being there matters more than gifts, vacations, or expensive gestures. 5. Children notice everything. Kids are watching. They see your priorities. They hear your lies. They feel your absence. Act accordingly.
Truth matters in this courtroom. How child support actually works. Let's talk about the mechanics of child support, because these cases reveal how the system functions and sometimes fails. The basic formula. Most states use a formula based on each parent's income, number of children, custody arrangement, percentage of time with each parent, special expenses, healthcare, education, childcare. The goal is to ensure children have roughly the same standard of living at both homes. It's not about punishing the higher earner. It's about equity for the kids. Why it matters. Children shouldn't experience poverty at one parent's house and luxury at the other's. That creates resentment toward the lower-earning parent, guilt for the child, manipulation opportunities like live with me, we have more money, and stress and instability. Child support attempts to balance this. When the system works. In Case 1 and Case 2, the system worked exactly as intended. Case 1, high earner, $150,000, pays support to lower earner, $35,000, who has kids most of the time. Case 2, high earner with additional income, $60,000 plus a $30,000 loan, pays support to lower earner who has full custody. Both fathers now have financial resources to properly care for the children. The children's standard of living is elevated at dad's house to be more comparable to what it could be at mom's house if mom were actually present. When the system fails. But child support has limitations. It can't force presence. Miss Johnson still owes child support, but she's probably still traveling and absent. Money doesn't replace time. It can't fix addiction. Miss Williams now owes child support, but she still has a shopping problem. Until she addresses the addiction, she'll keep mismanaging money. It can't cure entitlement. Miss Jackson didn't get what she wanted, but she probably still thinks she was right about the expensive party. Money doesn't fix character flaws. The enforcement problem. Here's a dirty secret about child support. Enforcement is inconsistent. Some states aggressively pursue non-paying parents, wage garnishment, license suspension, even jail time. Other states are lax. People get away with not paying for years. In these cases, all three mothers are employed. Their wages can be garnished if they don't pay voluntarily. But imagine if they were self-employed, paid under the table, or hiding income. Enforcement becomes much harder. The gender gap in enforcement. Studies show that when mothers owe child support, they're less likely to pay than fathers who owe support, and they're also less likely to face aggressive enforcement. Society still operates under the assumption that mothers are always the caregivers and fathers are the earners. So when the roles reverse, the system doesn't always adapt. These three fathers might have to fight harder to actually receive the money they're owed, simply because the system doesn't expect mothers to be the ones paying. Modification and gaming the system. Child support orders can be modified if circumstances change. Legitimate reasons, job loss, disability, major income change, custody change. Gaming the system, some parents intentionally reduce their income or hide income to avoid support. Miss Johnson could potentially quit her Herbalife side hustle and claim she only makes $125,000, not $150,000. Miss Williams could claim the $30,000 loan was actually spent, even though it's somewhere safe, so her income is just $60,000. Miss Jackson wasn't ordered to pay support, but if she were, she could claim financial hardship. This is why financial documentation is crucial. The tax implications. Under current U.S. tax law, post-2019, child support is not tax-deductible for the payer. Child support is not taxable income for the receiver. So Mr. Carter receives $1,456 per month tax-free. Miss Johnson pays it from already taxed income. This is actually fair. It prevents the higher earner from getting a tax break for supporting their own kids. The emotional toll. What these cases don't show is the emotional cost of fighting over money in family court. The stress, the resentment, the feeling of being judged, the public exposure of private financial details. All three fathers probably didn't want to be there, but they had to be because their children's needs weren't being met. All three mothers probably felt attacked and defensive. Even though they were in the wrong, being called out publicly is humiliating. And the children? Even if they weren't in the courtroom, they feel the tension. They know their parents are fighting about money. They internalize that stress. What good co-parenting looks like. In a perfect world, these cases would never reach court. In a healthy co-parenting relationship, Case 1, Miss Johnson would recognize she's prioritizing business over kids. She'd scale back travel, maintain her custody time, and voluntarily pay support to help balance the income disparity. In Case 2, Miss Williams would recognize she has a spending problem. She'd get therapy, be honest about money, and voluntarily contribute more to her son's expenses. In Case 3, Miss Jackson would have consulted James before planning the party, agreed on a reasonable budget, and split costs fairly. But we don't live in a perfect world, which is why we need family courts and judges who can impose fairness when parents won't create it themselves. The children's voices. One thing missing from all three cases, the children's input. They're 12, 12, and 8, old enough to have opinions, old enough to feel the impact. What would they say if asked? Case 1 boys, we love mom, but she's never here. We wish she'd visit more. Case 2 son, I don't care about mom's purses. I just need help with school stuff. Case 3 daughter, I just wanted my friends there. The ice rink was cool, but I would have been happy with cake in the backyard. Children's needs are usually simple. It's the adults who complicate things. Moving forward. These support orders are in place now. The fathers have legal backing. But the real question is, will these mothers change their behavior? Will Miss Johnson actually spend time with her kids or just send bigger checks? Will Miss Williams address her addiction or keep cycling through money problems? Will Miss Jackson learn financial boundaries or keep trying to compete with Susie? Only time will tell, but at least now the children have some financial stability, and sometimes that's the best the system can do. The changing face of child support. These cases represent a broader shift in family dynamics. Traditional model, father works, mother stays home. After divorce, father pays child support to mother who has primary custody. Modern reality, both parents work. Custody is often shared. Either parent might be the higher earner, either parent might be the primary caregiver. The legal system is slowly adapting to this reality, but cultural attitudes lag behind. The deadbeat stereotype. When we hear deadbeat parent, we usually imagine a man who abandoned his kids and won't pay support. That stereotype exists because historically it was mostly men who owed unpaid support. But these cases show the flip side. Women can also be absent parents who don't support their children financially. Yet society is less comfortable calling women deadbeats. We make excuses. She's building her career. She's going through something. She has other responsibilities. But when men do the same things, we rightfully condemn them. Equality means accountability. True gender equality means holding everyone to the same standards. If a father abandoned his kids for 7 weeks to focus on business, we'd call him a deadbeat. If a father spent $30,000 on toys for himself while his kid needed support, we'd call him selfish. If a mother demanded the father split an exaggerated expense he chose without consulting her, we'd call him unreasonable. So when mothers do these things, we should apply the same judgment. Equality doesn't just mean equal rights, it means equal responsibilities and equal accountability.
Truth matters in this courtroom. The MLM problem. Case 1 highlights something important: the dark side of MLM, multi-level marketing, culture. MLMs like Herbalife, Amway, LuLaRoe, and dozens of others prey on people, especially women, with promises of financial freedom and flexible work. The pitch? Be your own boss, work from home, make 6 figures. The reality? 99% of MLM participants lose money or make almost nothing. But the 1% who succeed often do so by becoming obsessed. The business consumes their life. They're at conferences, training events, recruiting parties, constantly on social media, and their families suffer. Ms. Johnson is making money, which puts her in the rare successful category, but at what cost? She's abandoned her children to build her empire, and the MLM culture celebrates this. They call it hustling, boss babe behavior, securing the bag. They don't talk about the kids who don't see their mom for weeks at a time. The consumerism trap. Case 2 reveals how consumerism has become an addiction for many people. We live in a culture that constantly tells us, you deserve nice things, treat yourself, YOLO, you only live once, self-care means shopping, designer brands equal success. Social media amplifies this. Everyone posts their purchases, their vacations, their lifestyle, and people like Ms. Williams internalize the message, I need expensive things to feel valuable. The result? Shopping addiction, massive debt, and children who suffer because mom values Gucci over groceries. The birthday party arms race. Case 3 shows how social competition has infected even children's birthday parties. This ties into a broader phenomenon: parents using their children's lives as content for social media. The goal isn't the child's happiness, it's the Instagram post, the perfectly styled party, the professional photos, the proof that you're a good parent who gives your kids the best. And parents who can't afford elaborate parties feel like failures. Their kids start to feel deprived because they didn't have a bounce house and a petting zoo at their 6th birthday. It's madness. And it's creating a generation of children who measure their worth by external markers of wealth instead of internal character. What this says about priorities. All 3 cases reveal a society with deeply messed up priorities. We value career success over family presence, material possessions over human relationships, social image over authentic connection, keeping up with others over living within our means. And our children are paying the price. They're growing up with absent parents who send money instead of time, role models who prioritize shopping over responsibilities, experiences designed for Instagram rather than genuine joy. The mental health crisis. There's a reason anxiety and depression rates among children are skyrocketing. Kids need stability, presence, reasonable expectations, parents who model healthy behavior. What they're getting instead? Parents stressed about money because they overspend. Parents absent because they're chasing business success. Parents who teach them that worth comes from external validation. This creates adults who don't know how to manage money, have no work-life balance, and seek validation through consumption. Can't maintain healthy relationships.
We're creating these problems in childhood and wondering why adults are struggling. Breaking the cycle. The good news, these patterns can be broken. For parents like Ms. Johnson, you can choose to scale back work and prioritize time with your kids. Yes, you might make less money, but your children will have a mother who's actually present. That's worth more than any paycheck. For parents like Ms. Williams, you can get help for addiction, therapy, financial counseling, support groups. It's hard, but it's possible. Your child deserves a parent who values them over material things. For parents like Miss Jackson, you can choose to stop competing with other parents. You can have a simple party and teach your daughter that love isn't measured in dollars. You can model financial responsibility instead of keeping up appearances. But it requires self-awareness, recognizing the problem, humility, admitting you're wrong, courage, making different choices even when society pressures you, consistency, maintaining new habits long-term. What we can all do. Even if you're not a parent, you can help break these cycles. Stop comparing your life to others. Get off social media if it makes you feel inadequate. Live according to your values, not someone else's highlights reel. Call out unhealthy behavior. If your friend is neglecting their kids for work, gently say something. If someone you know has a shopping problem, offer to help them get support. Celebrate simplicity. Compliment the simple birthday party. Admire the parent who shows up instead of sends money. Value presence over presence. Model healthy boundaries. Say no to keeping up with the Joneses. Be honest about your financial limits. Show others it's okay to live within your means. Prioritize relationships. Time with loved ones is more valuable than any purchase, any business success, any social media validation. The future. These three cases are snapshots of a broader cultural problem, but they're also opportunities. Every time a judge rules that presence matters more than presence, it sends a message. Every time a parent chooses time with kids over business travel, it sets an example. Every time someone refuses to go into debt for an Instagram-worthy party, it breaks the cycle. Change happens one decision at a time. And maybe, hopefully, these three mothers will learn from their court experiences. Maybe they'll make different choices going forward. And maybe, just maybe, their children will grow up healthier, happier, and more balanced because their parents finally got their priorities straight. What do these fathers represent? Let's take a moment to appreciate the three men in these cases. They're not perfect, nobody is, but they showed up to court to fight for their children. Mr. Carter, making $35,000 a year, raising two boys on his own most of the time, never complaining, just asking for help. Mr. Bridges noticed his son's needs weren't being met, had a hard conversation with his ex, and pursued child support when she wouldn't voluntarily help. James stood his ground against an unreasonable expense, refused to enable bad financial habits, and modeled responsible choices for his daughter. These men are doing the hard work of parenting, being present, living within their means, teaching values, putting children first. They represent the millions of fathers who don't get credit because society still assumes mothers are the default caregivers. What do these mothers represent? These three women aren't monsters, they're flawed human beings, like all of us, but they represent some troubling trends. Ms. Johnson represents the hustle culture parent who sacrifices family for career success. Ms. Williams represents the addiction-driven parent who can't prioritize properly. Ms. Jackson represents the competitive parent who measures love in dollars. Millions of parents fall into these traps, not because they're evil, but because society tells them career success is paramount. Consumer culture tells them they deserve luxury. Social pressure tells them they need to keep up with others. These women need therapy, support, and accountability. Hopefully, this court experience is the wake-up call they need. What do these children deserve? Let's not forget the real victims here, the kids. Case 1, 2 boys who deserve a mother who shows up, not just sends money. Case 2, a 12-year-old who deserves financial support from both parents. Case 3, an 8-year-old who deserves a simple childhood, not an Instagram production. All 3 sets of children deserve parents who are present, financial stability, healthy role models, love that's demonstrated through actions, not just words or money. Hopefully, with these court orders in place, they'll get at least some of what they need. The judge's wisdom. Let's give credit to the 3 judges who handled these cases with clarity and fairness. They could have fallen into stereotypes. Mothers are always caregivers, fathers should always pay. Instead, they looked at the facts. Who has custody? Who makes more money? What's reasonable? What's in the children's best interest?
Truth matters in this courtroom, and they made decisions based on reality, not outdated gender roles. Judge 1 saw a mother who makes $150,000 abandoning her kids and ordered her to pay support to the father doing all the work. Judge 2 saw a mother hiding money while her child lived in need and calculated support based on her actual income. Judge 3 saw a mother trying to manipulate the system to fund extravagant choices and shut it down. All 3 judges protected children by holding mothers accountable. That's what good judges do. They apply the law fairly, regardless of gender. What we've learned. After 220 minutes examining these cases, what are the key takeaways? 1. Money doesn't equal love. All the Herbalife income, designer purses, and ice skating parties in the world don't replace being present for your children. Kids spell love T-I-M-E. 2. Financial responsibility matters. You can't spend money you don't have. You can't hide income and expect no consequences. You can't manipulate the system to avoid supporting your children. Eventually, it catches up. 3. Honesty is essential. All 3 mothers lied or hid truth about paying for school, about the $30,000 loan, about why the party had to be so expensive. Dishonesty destroys co-parenting relationships and teaches children that lying is acceptable. 4. Stop comparing. Living according to someone else's standards, Susie's party, other Herbalife reps' success, social media influencers' lifestyles, is a path to misery. Live according to your means and your values. 5. Addictions are real. Whether it's shopping, work, or social validation, addictions destroy lives. If you recognize yourself in these stories, don't panic. Therapy works, support groups work, change is possible. 6. Gender equality cuts both ways. Mothers can be absent, financially irresponsible, and selfish. Fathers can be present, nurturing, and responsible. Judge people on their actions, not their gender. 7. The system can work. While family courts are often flawed, these cases show that sometimes judges get it right. When presented with clear facts and good documentation, justice can prevail. 8. Children are watching. Everything you do, your kids are learning from. Your financial habits, your work-life balance, your honesty, your priorities. Make sure you're teaching the lessons you want them to learn. Where do we go from here? These cases are over. The judgments have been made, but the real work is just beginning for these families. For Mr. Carter, he now has financial support to help raise his boys, but he still needs to be both mom and dad most of the time. That's exhausting. He deserves respect and support. For Ms. Johnson, she now pays $1,456 a month. But the question is, will she also start showing up? Will she reduce travel and actually see her kids? Or will she just send bigger checks and continue her absence? For Mr. Bridges, he now has support for his son, but his ex still has a shopping addiction. Until she addresses it, that $1,215 a month might just enable more bad behavior. For Ms. Williams, she needs therapy, not just financial counseling, but addiction treatment.
Otherwise, she'll keep making the same mistakes with different price tags. For James, he won this battle, but what about the next birthday, the next holiday? Will Ms. Jackson learn from this, or will it be a constant fight? For Ms. Jackson, she needs to examine why she felt the need to spend $1,500 on an 8-year-old's party. What void was she trying to fill? What insecurity was she trying to mask? For all the children, they need time, therapy potentially, and parents who finally get their priorities straight. The ripple effect. These cases don't just affect these 6 adults and however many children. They affect family members watching this dysfunction, friends who see how these parents behave, future partners these adults will have, other parents who hear about these cases and examine their own behavior. One court case can create ripples that change dozens of lives. If you see yourself here, if any of these stories resonated with you, if you recognized your own behavior in these mothers or fathers, don't panic. Awareness is the first step. Ask yourself, am I present for my children or just providing financially? Am I honest about money or hiding or manipulating finances? Am I living within my means or trying to keep up with others? Am I modeling healthy behavior or passing on my dysfunction? Am my priorities in the right order? If the answers make you uncomfortable, that's okay. Discomfort means you're ready to change. Get help, therapy for yourself, financial counseling if needed, co-parenting classes, support groups, honest conversations with your ex about what's not working. Make different choices. Scale back work to be present. Stop shopping to cope with emotions. Say no to social pressure. Prioritize your children over your ego. It's never too late to change. Your children will forgive you if you genuinely try to do better. The hope, despite how dark some of these cases seem, there is hope. Hope that Ms. Johnson will realize her boys need her more than her Herbalife business does. Hope that Ms. Williams will get treatment and break free from her shopping addiction. Hope that Ms. Jackson will learn to find worth outside of social competition. For all the children, they need time, therapy potentially, and parents who finally get their priorities straight.
Truth matters in this courtroom. Hope that all 3 children will grow up resilient despite these challenges. Hope that the fathers will continue to be strong, present role models. Hope that these court cases were turning points, not just legal proceedings. The power of one decision. Your life can change with one decision. One decision to put your phone down and play with your kids. Say no to an expensive purchase. Skip the business trip and go to the school play. Tell the truth about money. Stop trying to impress people who don't matter. Choose presence over presence. That's all it takes. One decision, then another, then another. And over time, those decisions add up to a completely different life. A life where your children feel loved because you're there. A life where money doesn't control you because you control it. A life where you don't compare yourself to others because you're content with who you are. That life is available to everyone, but you have to choose it. The legacy question. Here's the question that should haunt every parent. What will your children remember about you? Not what will they inherit, not what college they went to because you paid for it. What will they remember? Will they remember a parent who was always on their phone or traveling? Or a parent who was present? A parent who valued things over people? Or a parent who valued relationships? A parent who was always stressed about money? Or a parent who lived within their means and taught financial wisdom? A parent who competed with others? Or a parent who was confident in their own path? You're writing your legacy right now, every day, every choice. Make sure it's a legacy you're proud of. To the 3 mothers. If Ms. Johnson, Ms. Williams, or Ms. Jackson ever see this, Ms. Johnson, your Herbalife success is impressive, truly. Making $25,000 on the side of a $125,000 career shows hustle and business acumen. But your boys don't care about your income. They care that you're not there. 7 weeks without seeing them is 7 weeks of childhood you'll never get back. Those boys are growing up. Soon they'll be teenagers, then adults, and the time you have with them is finite. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. Please, scale back the travel. Be there. Your presence is worth more than any commission check. Ms. Williams, you have a problem. It's okay to admit that. Shopping has become a coping mechanism for something deeper. Stress, anxiety, emptiness, something. That $30,000 you borrowed and spent, or hid, could have changed your son's life. College fund, trade school, medical needs, opportunities. Instead, it went to bags that will be outdated in 2 years. Please get help. There are therapists who specialize in shopping addiction. There are financial counselors who can help you rebuild. Your son deserves a mother who values him more than designer brands. It's not too late to change. Ms. Jackson, I get it. You want your daughter to have magical memories. You want her to feel special. You want to be the mom who throws amazing parties. But here's what you're missing. She already thinks you're special because you're her mom. The $1,500 party didn't make her love you more. She would have loved you just as much with a $200 party at the park. What matters is that you were there, that her friends came, that she felt celebrated. Please, don't teach her that love is measured in dollars. Don't teach her to compare herself to Susie or anyone else. Teach her that contentment comes from within, that simple joys are just as valid as expensive ones. That's a gift that will serve her for life. To the 3 fathers, Mr. Carter, you're doing an incredible job. Raising 2 boys on $35,000 a year while their mother travels the world isn't easy, but you're doing it. Your boys are lucky to have a father who shows up every day, who takes them to the park instead of Paris because that's what you can afford. And that's okay. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're not enough because you don't make 6 figures. You're more than enough. You're there. You're present. You're loving. That makes you a great dad. Mr. Bridges, thank you for standing up for your son. It would have been easier to just let it go, to not file for child support, to avoid the confrontation. But you knew your son deserved financial support from both parents, not just one. You fought for him. That takes courage. And now he has resources he wouldn't have had otherwise. That's good parenting. James, thank you for having boundaries. Thank you for refusing to enable financial irresponsibility. Thank you for teaching your daughter that love doesn't require extravagance. You're raising a girl who will hopefully grow up to make wise financial choices because her dad modeled them. Stand firm. Don't let the pressure to keep up corrupt your values. Your daughter is learning from you every day. To the children. To the boys in case 1. I know it's hard that your mom isn't around much. I know it hurts when she chooses work over you. But please know, it's not your fault. You're not unlovable. You're not unworthy of her time. Your mom has her own issues she needs to work through. That's on her, not on you. And you have a dad who loves you enough to be there every day, who works hard to provide for you, who fights for you in court. That's rare. That's special. Don't take it for granted. To the boy in case 2, your mom's shopping problem isn't about you. It's about something broken inside her that she's trying to fix with material things. It doesn't mean she doesn't love you. It means she's struggling with something she hasn't addressed. But you deserve better. You deserve a mom who prioritizes you. And now at least you have financial support from both parents. Your dad fought for you. Remember that. To the girl in case 3, your birthday party was probably amazing. Ice skating with your friends and Tara Lipinski, that's a cool memory. But I hope you also remember the simple birthdays, the ones where it was just family and cake and laughter, because those matter just as much. Don't ever think expensive equals love. Don't ever think you need fancy things to be special. You're special because you're you, not because of what your parents can buy. To everyone watching, these cases are entertainment for us. We watch them, judge the parents, shake our heads at the dysfunction. But somewhere, there's a real family living each of these stories. Real children wondering why mom isn't home, why mom spends money on herself instead of them, why their parents fight about birthday parties. So before we judge too harshly, let's have some compassion, and let's examine our own lives. Are we present for the people we love? Are we honest about money? Are our priorities in order? Because it's easy to point fingers at Ms. Johnson, Ms. Williams, and Ms. Jackson. It's harder to look in the mirror and admit we might have some of the same problems, just in different forms. The call to action. If you've made it this far, 220 minutes into this deep dive, you clearly care about these issues. So here's what I'm asking you to do. 1. Examine your own life. Are you present for your children or other important people? Are you honest about money? Are your priorities in order? 2. Make one change today. Call your kid and tell them you love them. Delete a shopping app from your phone. Cancel one business trip to be at a family event. Stop following people on social media who make you feel inadequate. Create a realistic budget and stick to it. 3. Share this message. If someone you know is struggling with work-life balance, shopping addiction, or keeping up with the Joneses syndrome, share this with them. Not to shame them, to help them. Sometimes people need a wake-up call from an outside source. 4. Support good parents. If you know a single parent who's struggling financially but showing up every day for their kids, help them. Offer to babysit. Buy them groceries. Just be there. Good parents need community support. And 5. Advocate for change. The child support system works sometimes, but it's far from perfect. Advocate for fair enforcement regardless of gender. Better support for low-income parents. Therapy and addiction treatment as part of family court. Financial literacy education for parents. Affordable childcare so parents don't have to choose between work and presence.
Truth matters in this courtroom. 3 cases, 1 truth. We've spent 4 hours examining 3 child support cases. Case 1, the Herbalife entrepreneur who abandoned her children for business success. Case 2, the shopping addict who spent $30,000 on purses while her son lived with his father. Case 3, the competitive parent who spent $1,500 on a birthday party to keep up with neighbors. 3 different families, 3 different problems, but one unifying truth. Children need presence more than presence. They need time more than money. They need parents who prioritize them over ego, image, or income. And when parents fail to do that, the family court system has to step in and impose order on chaos. The judges got it right. In all 3 cases, the judges made the correct calls. They saw through the deflections, the lies, the manipulations. They focused on what mattered, the children's well-being. And they ordered financial support that reflected reality, not outdated gender stereotypes. $1,456 per month from the Herbalife mom to the father raising the boys. $1,215 per month from the shopping addict to the father with full custody. $0 from the father to the birthday party mom because her request was absurd. Justice served. But money isn't enough. These court orders solve the financial problem, but they don't solve the emotional problem. Those boys in Case 1 still have an absent mother. That boy in Case 2 still has a mom with an addiction. That girl in Case 3 still has a mom who measures love in dollars. Child support can't fix that. Only the parents can. The power of choice. Every parent in these cases has a choice to make moving forward. They can continue the pattern, keep prioritizing the wrong things, keep making excuses, keep harming their children. Or break the pattern. Get therapy, change priorities, be honest, show up, put children first. One path leads to broken relationships and children who resent them. The other leads to healing, growth, and children who feel loved. The choice is theirs. What about you? If you're a parent watching this, what choices are you making? Are you choosing presence or absence? Honesty or deception? Simplicity or keeping up with others? Responsibility
or addiction. Your children are watching, learning, absorbing. What are you teaching them? If you're not a parent, even if you don't have children, these lessons apply. Are you present for the people who matter to you? Are you honest in your relationships? Are you living authentically or trying to impress others? Are you in control of your money, or is it controlling you? These questions matter for everyone. The ripple effect of good parenting. When parents get it right, when they're present, honest, responsible, and loving, it creates a ripple effect. Their children grow up healthy. Those children become healthy adults. Those adults raise healthy children. One generation of good parenting can transform a family line for decades. Conversely, one generation of dysfunction, absent parents, financial irresponsibility, dishonesty, creates generational trauma that takes years to heal. You have the power to be the generation that breaks the cycle. Hope for the future. Despite all the dysfunction we've examined today, I'm hopeful. Hopeful because these fathers showed up and fought for their children. These judges applied common sense and fairness. The system, imperfect as it is, produced just outcomes. These cases might be the wake-up call the mothers needed. People watching this might examine their own lives and make changes. Change is possible. Growth is possible. Healing is possible. But it requires honesty, humility, and hard work. The final word. To Miss Johnson, Miss Williams, and Miss Jackson, I hope you find your way. I hope you choose your children. It's not too late. To Mr. Carter, Mr. Bridges, and James, keep being the fathers your children need. You're doing great. To all the children affected, you deserve better, and I hope you get it. To everyone watching, learn from these cases. Don't repeat these mistakes. Be present, be honest, be responsible, love well. Thank you for spending 4 hours with me examining these cases. If this opened your eyes, helped you see something in your own life, or gave you perspective, then it was worth it. Drop a comment. What was your biggest takeaway from these 3 cases? Hit that like button if you appreciate judges who apply common sense. Subscribe for more real talk about family court, parenting, and the tough issues nobody wants to discuss. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, the absent parent, the shopping addict, the competitive parent in your life. Maybe this will be the message that finally breaks through. And remember, every day is a new opportunity to make better choices. For yourself, for your children, for your future. You're not defined by your past mistakes. You're defined by what you do next. So, what will you do next? Choose wisely. I'll see you in